Hey guys, it's Shannon, also known as Pyranecos Juniper on Tumblr. So this is my hair looks like shit. I just look like shit. This is the second time I've had to record this, and considering the fact that my schedule's kind of all fucked up thanks to work, and tomorrow my last roommate moves in, things have been kind of really crazy, especially at work. I actually got a call about an hour ago from my manager asking me to come into work and pick up another shift. It's like every day I've had a day off, you guys have called me to pick up a shift. Please stop. Yeah, my hair looks awful. I need to get it cut. Let me know what kind of hairstyle you guys think I should have. You can see what my face is like. It's a very ugly face. I'm sorry. Anyways, last time I recorded this and uploaded it, and it took 13 hours to process and upload on YouTube. It went without audio. So here's the real deal. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Going on a limb because I fixed all the settings. It should be good. Okay, time to answer some questions. Okay. So Juniper Leader Jean asked, how did you first hear about RWBY? Also, what's your favorite aspect of the show? My favorite aspect of the show is just everyone is so extremely well written thus far. Although, since watching the episode chapter 4, there's a slight caveat to that. Everyone's so well written. The world is so incredible. I want to see more balance in everything, but we'll see how that goes. And how did I first hear about RWBY? I first heard about RWBY through Rooster Teeth. I heard about Rooster Teeth through Achievement Hunter, and through Rooster Teeth, I heard about RWBY. The red trailer had come out. I wasn't all that interested in it, but I'll get to that later. I want to get through this because it took me 45 minutes last time, and that was not fun. Ten Canario asked, what's your favorite part of Volume 2 so far? What are you looking forward to? Anyone from RWBY aside from Pierre that I might be interested in cosplaying, role-playing in the future? If you had to... if I had the opportunity to work for... Okay, one at a time. 1. What's your favorite part of Volume 2 so far? The food fight. The food fight was great. It's also... I don't know. I'm kind of biased because I haven't seen my juniper berries in a long time, and that makes me really sad. What am I looking forward to / hoping for the most? More juniper. As we know, this is going to be or as we can assume, this is going to be a pretty Pyrrha heavy side bit. Like we had Jean's arc. We're going to have Pyrrha's arc. Because the bit that they showed us during the laser team live stream was the Pyrrha versus Mercury fight. And then it's also, there's some hints at it in the opening. If you want me to explain more, I can go into detail about that in an ask. Is there anyone from RWBY aside from Pyrrha that you might be interested in cosplaying, role-playing as in the future? I had an interest in cosplaying and role-playing as Glinda. If I kept my hair its natural color, I probably would have done a cosplay of Glinda by now. But I'm not comfortable enough in blonde anymore to do that. So, yeah. And I used to have a Glinda blog, but I was only role-playing with one other person, and that was kind of sad. If you had the opportunity to work for Rooster Teeth, would you take it? If so, what job would you want to be doing? That would be a dream of mine, would be to work for Rooster Teeth. I would love to be on a writing team for Rooster Teeth. Even if it's something small, like a short, or like maybe X-Ray and Bab or something like that. I just want to write for them. That's one of my inspirations for changing my major and realizing I should be using college for training for what I want to do rather than just getting a job and getting out in the world. If you could change anything about your muse, what would it be? Wouldn't change a damn thing. She's perfect, in my opinion. Her flaws are just that. They're flaws. She's very... I feel like I have given her a very strong balance, personally. If you could change anything about RWBY as a whole, what would it be? I wouldn't change a damn thing. Except for, now that little bit that irks me, I'm not a huge fan of the way that Neo was introduced. I felt like it was super forced and very like, oh, here, new character. She doesn't say anything. We only hear her name and see one ability of hers, and then they leave. It's like, I feel like everything about Neo in this episode was not necessary in the slightest. So, Faunus Belladonna asks, who's your least favorite RWBY character and why? Well, right now it is kind of Neo, because we were just kind of really forced with her, but I can't really say that because we haven't actually gotten to know her as a character. My least favorite character is actually probably Weiss, because I know she's super popular and I know I'm going to get shit for this, but as a person, I cannot stand people with her kind of personality. Like, if I were stuck in a room with Weiss, it would take every inch of me not to punch her in the face. But as a character, I think she's excellent. I think she's a wonderful character. She has so much growing room and potential, and yeah. Team Raven asks, are there any regrets you have ever since joining the fandom and RPing? Yes. Except none of my regrets are ones that are centered around me. There's a lot of things I don't like about this community. There's a reason why my blacklist is actually 100, or not 100, like 50 items long, and that's really, really sad. But it's just the nature of things anymore. I just need to, I seclude myself in my own little corner of the fandom and stay out of it as much drama as possible. Wukong Warrior asks, if Pyrrha had to replace her team with 3 other characters other than Team Juniper, who would they be and why, including characters we have not seen yet or she has not interacted with? So in my last attempt to record this video, I thought long and hard about it, but this time I know for a fact, let's do Pyrrha, and I'm sorry, everyone on this team is blonde, Pyrrha, Sun, Yang, and Glinda. I feel like the 3 of them would be a very, 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 would they be a force to reckon with? Each have their own strengths, and I feel like the 4 of them, if I were to assemble a team and put them in a tournament, kind of like Pokemon Stadium, where you would pick your Pokemon and just put them in a team and have them go. If that's the layout of what we're doing, then yeah, that's the team I would put Pyrrha on. I feel like that team would do very, very well in a sort of a tournament. Axisora asked, first off, congratulations on 700 followers. That's right, this video was for 700. I'm now at 816. I have no idea what to do for 800. I'll see if the number drops after I announce the giveaway winners. What made you want to RP as Pyrrha? Was she just a character you had a genuine interest in portraying, or was there a reason? I picked Pyrrha because I had a very strong interest in her. I see a lot of myself in her, in good ways and bad. But at the same time, like, I don't know, it's hard. She just spoke to me the most. That's really all that is. Freelancer Ruby asks, what was your inspiration for Pyrrha's family? Like, what gave you the inspiration for hoped they turned out? Not quite sure what that second half of that sentence meant. First off, I'd like to go off and say I don't hope this becomes canon. At least I am not thinking it will be canon. It'd be cool if it did. It'd be really cool if it did, but I don't think it will. And my headcanons for Pyrrha's family kind of come off of my own. I have a very one-sided relationship with my dad and my extended family, and it's really, really hard and very taxing. Every time I talk to my dad about anything, it's really, really, really bad. But he still loves me, and it's weird. And the other part of it is Monty once posted a tweet a while ago. I want to say about 6 months ago. Probably shorter than that. He tweets these really interesting words of wisdom that sometimes hint at RWBY, sometimes are just words of wisdom. Like especially when he talks about women, it's very, very nice to hear a guy that you look up to, like Monty, and hear him say the kind of shit that he does. He says some really great things, and everyone should follow him on Twitter. Even if you don't tweet, I never really tweet, but I follow him on Twitter, and it's great. He once wrote that the people who give the most support are often the ones that need it the most, and that's kind of where was I going with that? Oh, that's kind of reinforces my statement about what I think Pyrrha's going to go through in this season with the hints from the opening. When we see Pyrrha, she is alone, and she's very, very, like, the scene around her is very textured. But as soon as Jean puts his hand on her shoulder, everything becomes clear, and she's surrounded by her teammates. We know that Pierre is one of the most supportive characters in the show. She's a support character, but she's also a very supportive character just in her nature. And I feel like Monty said, she doesn't get a lot of that at home. She doesn't have a lot of the support that she gives to other people. So that's kind of where I got a lot about that. Loyal Unseen Silence asks, what's your favorite thing about cosplaying? Well, I don't know if I'm going to do cosplaying anymore. I'm tossing ideas around about that. But my favorite thing is about how creative and resourceful people can get. Like, I was at San Diego Comic-Con and there were a couple Sharknado cosplays. Like, how the hell do you cosplay a Sharknado? They were like beach blanket Babylon style headpieces that were like gray tornadoes with plastic sharks sticking out them, and some really amazing stuff. And the ingenuity and genius that goes behind some of these costumes are incredible. Remind me at some point to tell you guys about the Ursula cosplayer I saw. That was absolutely fantastic. I am the Signless asks, when you first made this blog, did you already have a plan in mind, or was it more of a whim? It was definitely more of a whim, because I was like, okay, chapter 16 just concluded. Holy crap, I need to make an RP blog now, because I really want to get in. I really want to explore this world. I really want to get into it. So that's kind of how that thing happened. And of course, I already, like, when I first, after Jean's arc, I was like, wow, Pyrrha is an amazing character. I relate to her so much. I want to RP as her. So that's kind of how that went. Counting Muses asks, what is your favorite part about being a Rooster Teeth fan? Hands down, it's because of how giving, how caring, how amazing the community is. And not even the community on Tumblr. The community on Tumblr kind of sucks. But the actual Rooster Teeth community is amazing. We raised over almost $2.5 million of our own money to give to Rooster Teeth to create a movie that they've basically had in the works for the last 11 years, 12 years, more than. It's been around since before Rooster Teeth. We'd had Operation Supply Drop, where we raised money to send care packages to troops in the Middle East. We had the 24-hour extra live stream, where we were raising money. We raised so much money for children's hospitals. And we also have a way of rallying around our own. One of the more prominent Rooster Teeth community members was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And at the beginning of the month, there was a live stream and a bunch of charity opportunities to donate money to her and her husband so she can get through the horrible expenses that is the American insurance system, American healthcare system. I want to say we raised, our goal I think was $5,000, and we raised over $7,000, which isn't going to cover a lot, but it's definitely going to put a dent and help ease the weariness of the costs. So yeah, that was fantastic, and it's reasons like that I'm really proud of the Rooster Teeth community. Jinx JHS asks, if you could have any other weapon besides, I guess this is for Pyrrha, if you could have any other weapon besides Milo and Aqua, what weapon would you rather have, with pros and cons about what weapon it is? I don't think Pyrrha would change her weapon. Milo, Aqua aside, because Aqua is a shield, and has its own pros and cons, and has its own strengths about being a shield, and between that and Pyrrha's semblance. But Milo is very, very, very versatile. It's a long distance, short distance, and mid-range weapon. And it's a firearm, it's a blade, and it's, sorry, I thought I heard my phone ring. It's a weapon, well, I mean, duh, it's a weapon. It's a firearm, it's a blade, and it's a rocket-propelled spear, or javelin, really. It's a very well designed and versatile weapon. I don't see much more you can do to improve it. Roman X Torchwick asked, which RWBY character other than Pyrrha do you identify with the most and why? I identify a little bit with everyone. I see a lot of Good Witch in myself because I want to see people grow to their best potential, in which case, Pyrrha and Good Witch actually are a lot alike, in my opinion, and that's why fan theories, not going to go into that. I see some of my sass in Roman, and especially Emerald. I see a lot of my enthusiasm in Ruby and Nora. I just see a lot of myself in everyone, and it's really, really hard to say who I identify with the most besides Pyrrha and Good Witch, because they are really if I were to take a personality test, I'd probably be about 80% them and about 1% everyone else. Mercury the Butcher asked, this may sound rather ridiculous, but do you try to infuse current emotions into your threads? Because some of your threads are absolutely drenched in awing feels, and it has grand imagery as well. Yes and no. I definitely have, like any other person on this site, I definitely have I have moods for certain RPs. Like, hey, I'm in the mood for angst. Let's write some really killer angst. Or, hey, I'm in the mood for fluff. I could use some cuddles right now. I think everyone kind of goes through that kind of thing. But generally, my emotions are separate from Pyrrha's. If anything, writing the RPs gives me the emotions that Pyrrha's having. And sometimes, especially with Homecoming Menagerie, I've had to read over a reply several times, take a seat back, run my hands through my hair, brew myself some tea, walk around. I needed to take a break from the really, really heavy stuff that came from Homecoming Menagerie. Which everyone should read. It's fantastic. Bumblebees and White Roses asked, what is your reason you chose Pyrrha as a muse? As I said before, it's because I felt a very strong connection to her. It's kind of it's really weird seeing someone like myself so represented in a piece. Ask Sean and Farion said for the Mun video, what would you like to see in Pyrrha as the volume progresses? I can't wait to see her character development in this season, or this volume rather. I think there was some debate early on about whether or not her personal story arc in this volume would be how she would handle losing in the Vital Festival tournament, and I think it will be. And my reasoning for that is because, yes, Pyrrha's a very selfless individual. Yes, she's very, very humble. But I think she holds herself, she doesn't want people to hold her as high of a standard as she holds herself. I think she holds herself at a very, very, very high standard, because we have not seen her at a low yet. She's a very, very skilled warrior, and I think she needs a reality check. And I think that's going to be a very big part of it. Yes, she doesn't mind Jean growing, but that's because he's growing. She doesn't want to see anyone, including herself, fall. And I think that's going to be a very good opportunity for Jean to show that he's a good leader and be there for his teammate when she needs him most. And I'm not even saying that from a shipping perspective, because I know a lot of people here know how I'm a diehard Arcos shipper. But shipping glasses aside and my personal bias aside, I think it's a great opportunity for Jean to showcase that he can be there for his team, at least as a very strong emotional support, and not necessarily just as a physical or psychological support. Basically, Neptune asks, what's her favorite RT short or favorite immersion? Baby Gus, I think, is my favorite RT short, just because of how, most of Rooster Teeth's shorts are absolutely absurd, but there's nothing sane about Baby Gus. That one was absolutely fantastic, and I use it to creep up my roommates all the time. And my favorite immersion basically has to be anything from this last season of Immersion. It was Immersion in general is just great. I really liked the Mario Kart. I loved the Pac-Man. I just love everything. It's kind of weird. So that's the halfway mark of these questions. I have 35 questions, so this is about halfway. I'm going to announce the winners of the giveaway now. In the last video, you see me go through, number them all, pick them, but I don't think it's fair to the winners of the giveaway that I have to redraw. So the winners I picked from last time I tried to film this and it fucked up are Tewono won the poster. Jean Vomit Boy Arc won the t-shirt, and it was Roman X Torchwick that won the Rooster Teeth sponsorship. I do need to talk to you, Roman X Torchwick, about how we're going to do this, because the system's kind of screwed up on Rooster Teeth's site right now. But yeah, Tewono, you won a poster of your choosing from the Rooster Teeth site. Jean Vomit Boy Arc, Sammy, you won a t-shirt of your choice. Tewono won a poster of your choice. Jean Vomit Boy Arc wins a t-shirt of her choice from the Rooster Teeth store. And Roman X Torchwick, you won a 6-month Rooster Teeth sponsorship. If you have a sponsorship already, talk to me. We'll work something out so you can still get a prize, if not the Rooster Teeth sponsorship. Okay, anyways, continuing on. Ask a Ruby student says, what other pairings do you see Pierre and Jean with that aren't each other? I think the tricky thing is that I'm not a serial shipper to begin with. I'm not big on romance shipping. Leadership is kind of a bro leadership, which is Ruby and Jean is definitely a bro TP of mine. I love the friendship they're fostering. It's absolutely great, and I cannot get over it enough. And Pyrrha, I just don't see as a romantic individual to begin with. I think she has a lot of other stuff on her plate, and a part of the reason why I ship her with Jean is because he's already such a big part of her life that I don't see anything else really able to fit in there. I can also see them being as platonic friends in canon, but that's not necessarily something I want. I would like to see them go on a similar path as how I view Ren and Nora, but Ren and Nora are so special. I really don't think anything can get on that level. Lyra Jaded Dragon asks, do you have a routine before you sit down and watch anything on the computer, Ruby and non-related? And also, what are your top 5 favorite movies? I'm not going to answer the top 5 movies question because Robin Williams did just die. And that's like my entire childhood right there. So I'm kind of in a bias right now. I also just found out that Westboro Baptist might be picketing his funeral. And considering the fact I live in San Francisco and the funeral may be taking place in San Francisco, it's just a lot to deal with right now. And I may, depending on my work/school schedule, go to the counter protest. I'm not sure. There better be a freaking counter protest. I'm amazed that Westboro Baptist would even consider stepping foot in a city like San Francisco. Anyways, do you have a routine before I sit down and watch anything on the computer? Not really, especially with the fact that the place where I work, I'm on my feet all day. I'm chasing dogs all day, and cleaning up dogs all day. I just sit down and watch. Sometimes I'll make myself some dinner first because I've been working a lot of morning shifts lately, and then just sit down and relax and unwind and watch Rooster Teeth videos. Onyx Fire 101 asks, were you into Ruby when it started, or did you hop on the train once the hype got real? That's very difficult to say because, as I said, I was a fan of Rooster Teeth first before I was a fan of Ruby. And when I first saw the Red trailer, I actually didn't like it very much. I thought it was, and it's kind of my criticism of most anime nowadays anyway. It's hard for me to consider myself an anime fan because Miyazaki has a point when he says that the quality of anime has reduced so much and the point of the anime industry has shifted so much. So at that point I was like, another anime style thing about cute little girls fighting monsters with a bunch of upskirt shots, big whoop, don't really give a shit. But my friend forced me to watch the first episode or first chapter of Volume 1, and I immediately fell in love with it. And that was before I was really into Tumblr. I didn't get involved into the RP / Ruby fandom kind of community on Tumblr until after I created my roleplay blog, which was just after episode 16 aired on the Rooster Teeth site. So October-ish, right? Something like that. So yeah, that's kind of how that went. So I can't really say I hopped on the hype train, because when I got on, there really wasn't a hype train. So I don't know when the hype train started. So, Black Rose Autumn asks, not sure if this matters right, but Team Red or Red Team or Blue Team? If that's already been asked, then Pyrrha gets that question. Aesthetically, Pyrrha would belong on the red team just because she's so warm colored to begin with. But personality wise, I do have to say she's blue team, and I'm blue team too. Actually, this is a Haywood Airlines shirt, but I'm blue team too. Yeah, I just gotta say blue team all the way. And considering the fact that my personality and Pyrrha's personality are quite similar, blue team all the way. Jean Vomit Boy Arik asked, I finally thought of a question. What is your favorite memory from Tumblr? What is your favorite moment in RWBY, or what are you looking forward to the most? Whichever hasn't been asked. My favorite moment in RWBY overall, not just in this last volume, has been Jean's moment that he has on the rooftop during his arc, where he just unloads everything to Pyrrha, relays the reason why he's so weak, how he came to the spot where he's at. And that is the moment I fell in love with Jean as a character, and why he's one of my absolute favorite characters in the entire series, because he is the most human out of anyone. Yeah, he lied. Big whoop, humans lie all the time. But and the fact that he wanted to be more than just the damsel in distress stuck in a tree, and doesn't want to just be the comic relief. He wants to be a hero. It made me fall in love with his character and his development, and I'm really happy that happened. My favorite memory on Tumblr has to be Homecoming Menagerie, just because of how insane that thing has gotten. That RP holds a very, very near and dear place in my heart. And it's almost over, and I'm very, very, like, we're on the morning of the final battle, and that makes me very scared. But I also liked when you, me, JoJo Cosplay and Storytime Nora Valkyrie all got together and did those closet cosplay stuff. That was a lot of fun, as short-lived as it was. And I'm sad I'm probably not going to pick that up again, but I hope you guys do, because that was a lot of fun, and you guys deserve to have that fun. Fisherman asks, if you had to pick one, what would you choose? You get pure semblance but have no control over it whenever someone says hello to you, or get to be the faunus of your choice with all the benefits, but you must defecate outdoors once a day. I swear I'm not crazy. Okay, just a little weird, but not crazy. I have to say probably have pure semblance, because I already say sorry a lot, and I apologize for everything a lot, and I feel like everything's my fault a lot. So yeah, it really wouldn't be anything new to me. Nora gets a hold of 3 cups of coffee and 5 energy drinks and downs them, resulting in an ultra hyper Nora. What would you do to diffuse the following situation? I would get Ren. That thing, I know when I've bitten off more than I can chew, and that I can't even get, I just can't. I would definitely get Ren for that situation, because he would know how to handle it much better. The Crazy Monkey asks, have you ever thought about RPing as anyone else? As I said, I've RP'd as Glinda in the past, but I only RP'd with one other person, so that kind of didn't go anywhere. Tewono asks, as a language/art nerd, what do you think of the Greek language and others like it? And would you like to see more cultural references like Pyrrha's kit in the show? As a language, as you say, I'm a language nerd, and so naturally I find Greek and pretty much every other language interesting. I love the fact that we've all been able to form words, but still not understand each other, and how different words can mean different things, and it's like speaking in a code and decoding that and trying to fit into it and fire it back to someone. How to communicate with someone absolutely fascinates me. I really wish I took French as a minor once I got to college. I'm really upset that I didn't. And considering the fact that I'm looking at changing my major now, it's probably too late. I'm supposed to graduate. Society would expect me to graduate this spring, but with the way that the school system is set up now, there's no way I'd be able to, and now with me wanting to change my major, there's definitely no way I'm graduating in spring. So would I like to see more cultural references like Pyrrha's in the show? I'd love to, but I mean, we'll see how it goes, because Remnant is not related to Earth. We need to remember that. Official Blue Army, my peeps, asked, if you had to convince someone to watch RWBY in only a few sentences, how would you do it? I would say, hey you, do you like RVB? If you like RVB, you'll like RWBY, because it's also done by Rooster Teeth and the same writers and the same animators, and it's really, really good. So I think you'd like it a lot. If you don't like RVB, it's still different enough from Red vs. Blue to where you can get into it on your own. You don't have to like RWBY. You don't like RVB and RWBY are still very different, so you can still really enjoy it. So yeah, that's kind of my thing. That's how I would say. Ruby Braun OC asks, how long have you been RPing? Well, I've had this Pirate blog since, I want to say, October. I RP'd on Tumblr as an Hogwarts AU of Irene Adler from BBC's Sherlock. Before that, just barely before that, though. I want to say around... I actually have no idea when I started RPing as Irene. Weird. But overall, I've been RPing for 10 years now. I started when I was a youngin' on sites that I'm ashamed to admit anymore. And yeah, I've just kind of been RPing ever since. So yeah, 10 years. Holy shit, that's a long time. One-Eyed Scientist asks, are there any sort of preparations or exercises that need to be done before you do your voice acting? I always go through all of my high school, because I haven't taken theater classes since high school, regrettably. But I always go through my old tongue twisters and stuff and vocal exercises that I learned. I slit the sheet I sit. Upon the slitted sheet I sit. I'm not the mother pheasant plucker. I'm the mother pheasant plucker's son, but I will gladly pluck your mother's pheasants until the mother pheasant plucker comes. Are just two of the more fun ones because, it's, high school. You could possibly say a swear word. Those ones are fun to say, though. And yeah, I do a lot of vocal warm-up type stuff. Jean Arcade, I like your punny name, asks, has role-playing helped you develop your communication skills outside of Tumblr? I would say yes and no. I mean, I don't really... As I said, I've been RPing for 10 years. I've only been RPing on Tumblr for probably 2 years now. A year to 2 years now. So it's very natural for me to think, okay, let's put these two factors, these two things into this situation. How would this situation pan out based on this person's personality and this person's personality, this person's wants and needs versus this person's wants and needs? I guess because of that, and I've been doing that for so long, it makes me really good at giving advice. I don't know. I don't really talk to people. Crescent Ruby Rose asks, what are some of your favorite headcanons or AUs for RWBY that don't have to involve Pyrrha? I really like the Dragon AU, and I like the Pacific, kind of like the Pacific Rim AU. I don't know much more about the Pacific Rim AU. That one it's just awesome. The Dragon AU is amazing, but generally I don't like things like the Henceforward AU or Cimarose Court or any of that stuff. It's just... I don't like making predictions about stuff that we don't know for sure yet. It's different for it to be like a completely different AU, but if it's still kind of in the world, I don't know. That's kind of... it's weird because of Homecoming... Well, no, because Homecoming Menagerie takes place in like the present time, but anything that deals with like the future or the past is not something I'm totally uncomfortable, or I'm not totally comfortable with, because we don't know. Monty, Carrie, and Miles, or as I say, MKM, already have an idea as to what that is for the show, and I want to respect their wishes on that. Also asks, is there anything you'd like to see from Pyrrha in future seasons of RWBY, like family, a bit of her famous days? Yes and no. Because I've developed such thorough headcanons about her, I'm deathly afraid about what I'm going to do when I lose them. So, I mean, yes, I'm looking forward to them, but at the same time, I'm very fearful of the day that I lose everything that I've worked so damn hard on. Dusty Snow asks, or no, sorry, that's an unrelated ask, but I really like you, Dusty Snow, so thank you for sending that hair dyeing tip. One for Every Verse asks, what's the hardest cosplay you've ever put together? definitely my Pyrrha cosplay from San Diego Comic-Con this year. Everything that could go wrong with it did. I've learned I'm not good at making armor again. I'm never attempting armor again, which is one of the reasons why I don't think I'm going to try to cosplay ever again. It was because of how wrong everything turned out when my Pyrrha costume happened. It was so bad that I had to delete the picture I took, or I had to crop myself out of the picture I took with Kara and Aaron when they were at San Diego Comic-Con, because I was a disaster. Yeah, that really sucked, and is one of the reasons why I'm probably not going to do cosplay ever again. Even if I go to RTX, I don't know if I'm going to be cosplaying. Ask Dude Be Crew says, what is something you aspire to do in film and voice acting? I just want to get paid for a voice acting gig. That's kind of on my bucket list. I would love to get paid for doing voice acting. So who knows how that's going to go. Luciana Lelia, if I pronounced her name right. If the Reaverse was real and we all lived in it, what kind of huntress would you be? I've been asked that a couple times already, and I still don't know. If anyone wants to figure something out for me, that'd be really cool. But I have no idea. Books of the Universe asks, who are your favorite people to RP with? I mean, I don't really want to answer this entirely because I know there's going to be people I forget. My favorite people to RP with have to be Jean Vomit Boy Arc, Ask a Ruby Huntress. Well, they used to be Ask a Ruby Huntress. Now they're Ask a Ruby Student. And Professor Goodwitch, even though we don't RP that much anymore. Those three people, and Wukong Warrior, those four people are definitely my favorite people to RP with. There are other people that are kind of, I hate the word, but they're kind of senpais to me. So those four, plus Professor Ozpin, Cinder the Witch, a couple of different Romans out there. They all have very similar usernames, so I feel really bad because I get them mixed up all the time. And a very good friend of mine is Juniper Leader Jean. I feel bad because I don't have the muse to RP with him all the time, and I feel like a really shitty person for it. But he's a very good friend, and I think everyone should follow him because he does do a very good Jean. I just don't know why. I just can't get, like, no matter how I try to force it, I just can't get my muse to click with him, and I feel really, really bad for it. Torn Scales asks, do you have any personal headcanons you'd like to see happen in the Ruby series that are not ship related? Not really. I mean, everything, all my things about Penny basically turned out to be true. And I honestly don't have that many headcanons. Most of my headcanons revolve around Pyrrha, and those I'm deathly afraid of losing, so I'm not, unless we want to talk about silly headcanons, in which case I don't think Jean likes turkey sandwiches anymore. Just putting that out there. And last but not least, Combreta asks, is there a character from Ruby that inspires you or means something to you specifically? As I said, everyone in Ruby I see a little bit of myself in. Pyrrha naturally hits home for me the most because I see so much of myself in her, in good ways and bad. And I think a lot of people tend to forget the and bad part. But, I mean, yeah, just Ruby in and of itself is a fantastic series, and I absolutely love it. So yes, those are the questions I have for this video. Oh wow, I was like off center the entire time because I was speaking into my mic, and I only just now see the playback. Damn. So yeah, that's me and Ruby, my relationship with the show Ruby. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. As I said, I did this video because I have now over 800 followers, and you guys don't ever really talk to me, and it's really heartbreaking, and I really want to get to know you guys. I want you guys to get to know me, and I want to have a relationship with my followers. As far as I know, most of you don't actually exist or are deactivated accounts. So, are dead URLs, no longer active URLs. So, yeah, feel free to message me anytime. I'm gonna call it a time now because I still have to clean up my room before my roommate shows up tomorrow. Alrighty. Bye, guys.